Now, Nicolas Cage is an iconic name in Hollywood that has gone through several phases, I suppose. There is the Academy Award-winning, all-time celebrated phase where he is a multi-time Academy-nominated, Academy Award-winning actor. I freaking love the dude. Then he went through a long phase, which some might say we're still kind of in, where he was doing like a lot of direct-to-video movies and kind of, paying the tax bill.
Yes, the tax bill phase.
Paying the tax bill phase. That's a perfect way to put it. Of his career and all that kind of stuff. With little bright shots of resurgence. Like, again, him as Big Daddy in
good.
Kick-Ass.
Dude.
Makes that movie. You don't realize it until you watch Kick-Ass 2, which he's not in, and you realize it's still good, but you realize this thing has got a Big Daddy shaped hole in its heart, and it really needs Nicolas Cage there. And then, of course, kind of capping the resurgence thing, we had The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yeah.
Which I'll be honest, I didn't love it as much as a lot of people did, but I was still quite entertained by it. And I love Nick Cage. One of the Nick Cage projects a lot of people have been clamoring for is a National Treasure 3. People have been wanting another National Treasure. Now, of course, Jerry Bruckheimer, the producer of those films, he came out a while ago to suggest that they are going to look at making another one. But that was many, many moons ago. And really nothing has been heard about it since. We even had some of our own viewers writing in asking, is this thing still happening? Well, according to Bruckheimer, oh yes, it's still happening. Jerry Bruckheimer was being interviewed about his new big film, Top Gun, which we will talk about in a little bit here. And during that conversation, it got brought up and asked if they were still going to be doing something with National Treasure. So this comes to us from the folks over at MovieWeb who wrote the following. During an Ask Me Anything on Reddit about Top Gun, Bruckheimer, who produced both films, answered a fan question about his thoughts on working with Nicolas Cage again, and he replied, this is the producer, said, "Absolutely. I love Nick Cage. He's a brilliant actor, and we are currently working on the script for National Treasure 3. So it's official. Like, a lot of people wondering, is this thing even still happening? Was it a neat idea that maybe it was one of those ideas that they just kind of put out there to see what the response was? Went dead quiet, but apparently they still want to do it. Rob, is a National Treasure really still something people want to see today? Do you think this thing's actually going to happen?
Well, didn't they announce a National Treasure TV series recently?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's done. Like, Catherine Zeta-Jones is in it. Yeah, and that's
so
coming
they did
out.
that.
That's coming out on Disney Plus.
So it makes sense to me with all of these legacy sequels and reboots and things being made. I think National Treasure is one of those franchises that people just smile when they hear about it.
Yeah,
they like. I mean, because it wasn't great, but it was fun. It was a breezy adventure. I thought it was, both of them actually were pretty satisfying. I thought they were, and whenever Jerry Bruckheimer makes a movie, there is a polish and a sheen to his work. I mean, all the way back to, he produced movies like Thief in the early 80s and Paul Schrader's remake of Cat People before he teamed up with Don Simpson and everything they did. I just got Beverly Hills Cop 2, the 4K disc, and I forgot. I hadn't seen that movie in a long time. And that's got that Simpson Bruckheimer sheen. And you're like, wow, man, I missed that. We got a big bit of it in Top Gun. So, yeah, dude, I would be totally up for it. Look, give it a good plot, give them some good co-stars, make it a team effort, some kind of, I don't know, collaborative team thing, which is part of those movies. I'd watch it.
And of course, don't forget about the National Treasure TV series. They recently announced, when we talked about on the show, that the guy from
Justin Bartha.
Thank you, from the Hangover franchise, and of course was his kind of assistant in the. He is going to be in the TV series as well. So this is going to be a connected universe kind of thing that they're doing.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, it could be like the X-Files movie where one season ends, leads into the movie, and then the ramifications are dealt with in the next season of the show. I'd dig that.
Anyway, you saw this, Chris. What do you think about this? Would you even want another National Treasure? Do you think there's going to be an audience for it? What do you think?
I absolutely want this. Nick Cage stealing the Declaration of Independence. That's cinematic gold. And it makes sense to me, right? Riley Poole is supposed to be a pretty large part of the new series, the Justin Bartha character.
Right.
So it just makes sense to have his mentor and friend be part of that show and have that segue into a movie. And I think there's a big audience for this. Uncharted did very, very well. That wasn't entirely my cup of tea. I'm trying to remove myself from my love for the video game. But, I think people love these action adventure films. They love these kinds of quests that people go on that have some historical foundation to them. So I think this would do really well. And Nick Cage is having a moment. So let's do it. Let's see it.
It really is. The series really is the spiritual successor to Indiana Jones in many ways. I'm not saying it's Indiana Jones, but like there's not very many purely adventure films like the Indiana Jones, National Treasure, Uncharted. I think would go in there depending on who you ask, Chris or Ray, who will bring different theories and positions on that. But I mean, it's kind of rich that way.
And maybe this will open the door to Con Air 2. Ooh. Come on now. Come on. Who doesn't want to see
you just want another Nick Cage shot of him in front of a fan going,
come on.
Okay, you got to figure out some way that you can bring John Malkovich
Cyrus
back.
the Virus.
You got to get John Malkovich back. That's the only way this works. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The producer of the National Treasure series, Jerry Bruckheimer, is saying, yep, it's still a go. We're still working on this. Now, that's a long way from being greenlit, like having a script and everything. That's great. It's still got to get the final green light, but they say they're still working on it. Are you interested in it? Do you think people will be interested in it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and leave us your thoughts. Guys, we want to take just a minute and thank the sponsor of this video, Masterclass. Masterclass is offering classes on a wide variety of topics, like all taught by world-class masters at the absolute tops of their field. Each class is broken down out into individual video lessons, usually like around 10 minutes or so long, and members can explore at their own pace. And each class is supported by downloadable materials, lessons, recipes, or more that you can all find at masterclass.com. For example, are you into streaming? Well, you can take the Building Your Streaming class taught by ninjas so you can sharpen up on your streaming skills. Or if you're interested in independent filmmaking, take independent filmmaking from Academy Award winner Spike Lee. You want to get classes on how to direct? How about from Ron Howard? The very first one I personally looked up and got into was Business Leadership by the great Big Papa Iger, Bob Iger himself. And I was absolutely enthralled with it. I love every single minute of this stuff. If any of those apply to you, you need to try Masterclass. So I highly recommend that you check it out. Get unlimited access to every Masterclass. And as a John Campea Show viewer, you get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/Campea. Once again, to get 15% off your annual membership, go to masterclass.com/Campea.